I think it's very important for the people of Tennessee to know that I believe that a government shutdown is always the wrong thing to do. I was opposed to it under President Obama. I'm opposed to it under President Trump.
Republican Senator Lamar Alexander today making it clear to his constituents he wants nothing to do with the president's government shutdown. Earlier, the Senate had the opportunity to vote on reopening the government, with Democrats asking for unanimous consent to bring up a package of spending bills, knowing they would probably pass. But that request was shot down by Republican Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. For more on where things stand on day 20 of the shutdown, I'm joined by Democratic Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii. Senator, I want to read you something the Senate Majority Leader had to say. He says that it's the Democratic leaders who have to find compromise with Trump and then deliver their colleagues' vote for that accord. I haven't been sidelined. There's just no particular role for me when you have this set up. Do you think that's true?
I think that's one of the lamest excuses I've heard from somebody who has the power to bring the House-passed bills to keep government open, and who's had no reluctance to use those powers to force a vote on eliminating the Affordable Care Act for millions of people, or to change the requirement for how many people it would take to put a Supreme Court justice on the court, starting with Neil Gorsuch and then Kavanaugh. He had no problems using his power to prevent Merrick Garland from even being considered, and yet he will say, I have no power to bring these bills to the floor. That is so lame, and that is the excuse he gave. So we are a separate branch of government. I don't think I need to remind Mitch McConnell that the Congress is a separate branch of government, and what we should do and what he should do, because there are two people who can stop this shutdown right now. One is the president, who is a hostage taker, having taken 800,000 people hostage, not to mention the thousands and thousands of contractors. He is a hostage taker. We do not negotiate with hostage takers. The other person who can end this shutdown right now is Mitch McConnell, because he has the power. He won't do it. So everyone should be asking, why aren't you going to use the power that you have had no problems using to force, $1.5 trillion tax cut for the richest people in our country and basically screwing the middle class? Why don't you do it? And he says, because the president won't sign it. There is this thing called overriding of a veto. So, Chris, I know you have a lot of people who watch your show all over the country. I would say to every one of your viewers who live in districts represented by Republican senators, they should call up their senators and say, go and tell Mitch McConnell to do his job, bring these bills on the floor, because we already in the Senate passed these last year, and make sure that everybody gets paid. He won't do it. So, it's very clear to me who can end this shutdown. I do not rely on the president, who is amoral, makes no distinction between right or wrong, nor does he care. So I'm not going to rely on this guy whose word is no good, but Mitch McConnell can do something about this.
There seems to be, the president has been sort of, running this up the flagpole that maybe he'll declare a national emergency.
Yes.
There's reporting indicating they're getting closer to doing that. It's very unclear if that's legal. Here's what they appear to be looking at, and I want to get your reaction to it. That Fox confirmed that White House has directed the Army Corps of Engineers to see if it can divert money to the border wall from disaster funding bill to cover wildfires in California, hurricanes in Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico. What do you think of that idea?
How much lower can you go? So it's bad enough that he's preventing 800,000 people from getting their paychecks tomorrow. You know what? Most of us live in a world where we actually need our paychecks. And now that's bad enough. But now he wants to take money from victims of disasters. See, there seems to be no depth to the cruelty of this president, the cruelty that he will impose on innocent people so that he can get his vanity wall. The person who can stop it is Mitch McConnell.
Well, you got Lindsey Graham, who basically is now urging the president to go the emergency route, because I think he, like Lamar Alexander, doesn't want to deal with it. It's sort of a strange situation. What is your plan? What's the Democratic Party's plan if tomorrow the president says, I'm declaring an emergency and we're going to order them to build the wall?
The only reason that he's going to declare an emergency is that the president figures that since he can't deal with the issue of the wall separately, he has to take people hostage, is to declare an emergency, and that he thinks is going to get him out of this corner that he's in. The rest of us do not have to buy into that. I think we should continue to focus like a laser beam, and there will be legal challenges to him declaring an emergency and grabbing money from victims of disasters. There will be challenges. But the rest of us don't have to wait around for this court challenge to wend its way. We can get Mitch McConnell to bring these bills to the floor. And what I don't get is why more Republicans are not finding their votes and consciences to do that, because we already voted for these bills.
I think you sound confident you would have the votes, and I think that Mitch McConnell is confident you would have the votes, which is why you're not getting the votes. Senator
That
Mazie,
is exactly right. You got it.
Senator Mazie Hirono, thanks for your time tonight. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.